Okay, as you can probably see, I'm not really dressed for doing any work on the aeroplane today. Had a bit of a mishap the other day and I managed to nearly tear my finger off on the grinder. I was talking about all those Hollywood sparks and stuff, and I was grinding a bracket I was making for the brakes, and my gloves, which I wear all the time to protect my hands as a musician, they've got quite a rubbery surface on them, and my hand drifted to the wheel and the rubbery surface of the glove stuck to the grinding wheel, and I went straight through it and ripped my finger, severed the nerve, severed the end of my finger. So I now have a very comic cartoon finger, which made playing bass that weekend extremely interesting. I had 2 gigs over the weekend, so I was limited to 3 fingers, but luckily I'm only a bass player and not a real musician. So that's the current state of affairs. I'm going to be out of action, certainly working on the aeroplane for a week or so, if not more. We'll see how it goes, see how the healing goes, and I'm not someone to sit around and do nothing, so I guess I shall be at it as soon as I possibly can, doing little bits, and we'll go from there. But there is going to be a slight hiatus in the videos. I don't think the world's going to be too devastated by that, but it gives me a chance to wear an awful shirt on YouTube. Never mind, I'll let you know how it goes. Cheers, folks. So I spent last weekend backwards and forwards to Casualty in Hull because of my stupidity, and managed to get my finger all stitched up. Still a bit of a state, mucky state at the minute. I'll have to change that dressing. But I'm back at it today, working on the brakes still. Seems to go on forever, but I think I've broken the back of it now, and I shall show you what I've been doing. Okay. So as we saw before, I've got the brakes and the disc set up on the wheel. Come round here. Get my finger out of the picture. Yeah, so the brakes wheels are on. I have drilled the retaining sleeves at the end there. Now I need to change those nuts. That's what that little tape on the end is. The bolts are the wrong size, but they were all I had at the moment. As you can see there, disc on the wheel. The wheel spins surprisingly freely, and if I can get down under there, you can see that I've got the bracket holding on. Use my pointy finger. The bracket holding on the brake disc calipers, and I've put a bracket here which is hinged. You can see that it's hinged there, because obviously I've got to have bungees that will go over the top there and round, and that will be the suspension. So the whole thing's got to come up first, but I can't do it until I finish setting up the other one. So the wheel again is on, the bracket is not on. I have once again drilled the retaining sleeve there, and the brackets just rattle canned them, been painted there black, and while I was at it I got the tail wheel all taken off and rattle canned black again. So that's gotta go. I can't remember whether I actually showed the system for the tail wheel. Whether I did or not, I don't know, but that's it there. It's all hinges from that point, from this. I'll use my good pointy finger, might as well make use of it. So all hinges from there, and again there will be a bungee round there. So that's the next job, get the bungees sorted, and should be hopefully the wheels sorted. I'm not quite sure whether this system is going to work and how independent, because I've hinged those. Get round there without tripping up. because I've hinged these brackets, the good thing is they also stop that moment there with it twisting, which I was bothered about. So they stop a large amount of that. There is a bit of play in them because of the hinges, but I have done on the other one. That brake caliper is on the front. This brake caliper will be on the rear, so it will come up this way. Oops, you can see it there. It will come up this way, whereas the other one's on the other side. So hopefully those two opposites will help even more of that twisting motion of the axle. Once I've got that in place, it did seem to all run freely and nicely, so let's hope it does once it's painted and set on. The wheels are quite nicely free moving. You can probably see that that brake disc isn't perfectly symmetrical. I think it's possibly the wheel. I don't know why. I can't see any. Everything's tightened up neatly and the same distances, so don't quite know why. Maybe there's a kink in the actual brake caliper, but I guess the brake calipers do have enough room for some play. So obviously I've done nothing with the wings yet. I've just cleared my mess away. As you can see, I've got the bungees laid out ready to go. They're the bungees for the suspension, 2 pieces. I'll probably just cut up one of my, which are over there, cut up one of the other bungees that I use that I was using to hold the frame, the air frame in place. I'll use that for the tail wheel bungee, I guess. But we'll see how it goes. I might not need all the bungee on there. They've come in 2 pieces, or I cut them in half, I can't remember which. We'll see. And that's it for today. That's an update. At least I feel better that I'm back at it now. It's been So we're back in the workshop. Finger is somewhat better, not totally healed, but I'm getting a little bit used for it after a bit of minor surgery and some nerves stitched together and the help of Hull Royal Infirmary. I can still count to 10, still back in action, and just now I've got the aeroplane on its wheels. Not 100% sure I like the results. I think I'm going to have to reassess. I've spent an awful long time working on this braking system. We've come up with a system there, if that focuses. I don't like, it's not strong enough. As soon as the brake comes on, if I can put the brake on, there's too much play, if you can see that, in that bar. I think what I need to do is put a 3-inch hinge here and a triangular piece of metal there, and then I've strengthened the inside of that with a piece of steel angle on both sides. But I think if I change that from being just a bar to a triangle, that'll give us a full hinge there, and that will stabilise the whole thing a lot more. So that's going to be my next move, I think. I've put the bungees on. As you can see, they're only loosely tied, and you can see the principle of the bungees there. It gives us a bit of suspension, but of course there's no weight on it yet. There's no wings on it. It's got 2 lots of wings to go on it, and me, engine and all the rest of it. So I don't know how tight. Those are probably going to need tightening up, but it seems to work. There's been a lot of trial and error, a lot of changes to that, a lot of thinking about it, but it seems to be working all right. It will move. A little bit of binding on the brake shoes, but I'm sure that'll wear off. So that's most of the way there. That's a slight adjustment, I think, to that to strengthen that. And then the tail wheel, I can see, I think I mentioned before about the guy, it's just, there's too much wobble in that tail wheel. You can see it's not at a very good angle, even though it's squared off. I really don't like that. So we're going to have to come back to that, I think. I'm not 100% sold on that system at all. You can see again the bungee, it's only tied at the minute, but that's where the suspension comes in. I don't know, just not 100% on that either, really. I think I need to reassess how that is connected. It appears to be mainly the way the wheel is connected to the bar. It appears to be more of a problem than the actual bungee suspension. I think will work fine. Might be a little bit tight at the minute, but again, it's got a lot more weight to go on it. So, bit of a curate's egg today. Something that's there and in position, and I like to see it on its wheels. It's certainly a landmark, but I do need to go back to those brakes just to stabilise them. I think certainly the front brakes. That tail wheel might be back to the drawing board on that. Not 100% sold on that at all. As I say, it seems to be actually more the physicality of the tail wheel rather than the way it's mounted. But we'll see. We'll see. I think I'm going to give this a rest for now. So good to see it on its wheels, and I'm going to start on the wings. I think that's the project for today. Get the wings sorted, and as you can see, laid out there, I'll clear off some of the mess that I've been making while playing with the brakes, and we'll get into that next process. As you can see, I've started on the wing at last. Still going to work on them brakes at some point, but I've started on this wing. Got the compression struts drilled, both sides. These have to be drilled at a 7-degree angle. Again, there's not much information in the instruction leaflet, so I've just drilled it. The bolts have been drilled at 7 degrees. All the tangs are in place. Those are the tangs for the bracing cables. Those are tangs for just down here. There's also on the other side, you'll see a tang there. That goes for the cables that run between the struts, between the wings, and bracing cables. And the same at this end, one at each end of those. So they're all in place. It's all set at 13 3/4 inches, and that's what the piece of wood at the end there is. It's just a template again, just to measure, make sure everything's straight all the way through. I'm going to have to leave it there today because I'm going to need a ratchet strap or something to pull this tight enough before I can actually compress the I forgot what they're called. No, completely gone out my brain. Anyway, these things, compress those things that will hold it all in place. Once I've got this one done, I shall complete the same one on this side, and hopefully that will keep it all in tension at the 7-degree angle. Again, I've probably said it before, but that's based at that piece of wood is at 7 degrees, and so I'll get started with the middle one. I'll get the two end ones done. No, just that middle one, and the other end one. The other one's got a tang on it. So I think that's right. I've got to check that again before I go. But yeah, so until I can get some actual tension on that cable, I don't want to tighten it all up. So that's the state of play today. Got an aeroplane on its wheels, as I said before. Looking nice, looking a bit more substantial as well now. So I'll nip in the famous aviation suppliers B&Q and see if I can get a new hinge for those brakes there, and possibly a ratchet strap or something. I'm sure I've got one. And there goes my phone. So I'll call it a day for today.